Hello, welcome to the Art of the Oracle. Today I am going to read from the Spirit Animals. This is a small, tiny little oracle deck, which I really love. It's I think I have two of them. And if you've ever worked with them, they're just so much fun. They really are, and you can take them anywhere you go. So I highly recommend them if you're someone looking for different decks. And yeah, it's nice. And also I have little hands, so they feel like they work really well in my hands. So on the other side, this is really big and really difficult to work with, but I love Kim Krans, and this is her Wild Unknown Archetypes deck, which I was really feeling this archetypal energy like flowing through the collective right now. So I'm very interested to see what happens here. And I wish I had her her animals, but I don't. But this one is beautiful as well. So we're going to put the guidebooks aside, and I'm going to ask for an energy from one of the animals. What is an animal that would like to share? I think that one. That was very fast. See if there's anything else. Okay, there's a couple of them here. Okay, so I'm going to take this first one right here that was down. Wow. So we have Owl Spirit. You see clearly now. There's a lot of wisdom in the owl. And this is a really, really beautiful image. Yeah, and it's interesting that it's pairing it with eagle. And normally the eagle message is, it says spirit has your back. And normally the eagle is about seeing from a higher perspective. So I feel like that is one of the reasons why they're coming out. And see how it says spirit has your back? It's almost like they've got each other's back. So I've heard or read that when birds, sleep, they have like a little rotation, like the birds on the outside of a wire are the ones that keep their eyes open and then they can rotate, but the birds inside rest and then they go back and forth to make sure that they all stay, and that's of course not all birds, because not all of them are flocks like that. Like, interestingly, these two are not birds that flock. So I love that these two are flanking and kind of keeping each other aware and clearly. And this looks like a queen or a feminine energy, and this looks like the king with a masculine energy. So that's another thing that I'm getting right now, is that there's a balancing of the energies. There's the wisdom and the awareness of this seeing clearly now with owl, and then having this majestic awareness of the strength and power within you and your knowing. And interestingly, this is a very, very different shift, but it does say spirit has a plan for you. And this almost looks like this koala spirit looks like a yogi, right? Sitting here. So these feel like a very, very powerful group. And I'm going to take a peek into the guidebook because I've never had koala spirit out before. So let's see what koala has to say. It says, in nature, the koala moves slowly. Chasing around after every distraction can keep us from recognizing that we have all we need. You're being asked to trust that by moving slowly with faith in the abundance that is everywhere, surrendering to a power greater than yourself, you will be able to experience the manifestation of your desire. As you take your time enjoying the riches available to you right now, you begin to radiate the joy and abundance that you seek. Spirit is here to help you discover happiness, pleasure, and contentment. Well, it's interesting because I wasn't thinking of, abundance and things, but it's certainly something that, I don't know if that's something that you think about a lot, but it is for me. It says, have faith and trust in Spirit's plan for you and know that you are loved and cherished. I love that. I think that's a really beautiful message for us today. And then with this owl, it says, let your wisdom arise and be your guide as you trust the acuity of all the senses. So that's one of the things about owl, right? It's like they're very quiet. These are moving very slow. This is moving very quiet. It says here, your relationship, your finances, your job, whatever it is, you can see the truth clearly now. I love that. I feel like these are all working together to share this. And I just opened up lastly to Eagle Spirit. And it says, Eagle Spirit has appeared to ask whether you're willing to soar to a new height. Even if that means solitude for a short while. I've kind of already been in that. Truly, all the wisdom of the world is available to you. When storms flash across the sky, it is Eagle Spirit that raises you above it all, helping you conquer fear and overcome adversity, reminding you that Spirit does have your back and wants you to experience life at its fullest. So I feel like all of these messages are kind of saying the same thing, is to trust in what's going on in the world right now and not to fear it. That move slowly, kind of lean into your wisdom. You don't have to, feel like you have to rush around or get out of a situation, because everything is exactly the way it needs to be right now. And that you, even if you feel at times that you're alone and that nobody is there for you, that you're not ever really alone, right? You are part of this grander scheme of life, and that you have spirit guides, you have ancestors, there's just so much energy around you. And it doesn't take long if you go on other YouTube channels to see like Arcturians and Pleiadians, and there's just so much cosmic and other beings that I feel like are bringing their energy into us right now. So let's take a peek at what's going on here. I'm gonna feel like I need to give it like a quick, like one of these kind of situations. And then now let's see, what is the message for us today? Okay, so that one, obviously, because it separated itself, the sword. So that's interesting, because in this, it looks like there's a separation between dark and light. It's like the sun and the moon. And the sword to me represents information. So in the sword's energy, it's about, cutting through the things that are not real. And that's kind of what this looks like here. Almost like there's a separation going on here. And this line is cutting through both, showing that really the connection between the two, and what is it that's separating these two worlds. I'm going to go to the guidebook and see what it has to say. I think this is under the tools. I love how she separates things, and it makes sense that this would be under the tools section. So the knife, the blade, the weapon. To use the sword is to decide. Yeah, it's the air energy. It's the mind. It's the mind and the voice, right? The things that come very quickly. The blade separates one reality from another. The choice is made and all else falls away. If you find the sword in your grasp, you can no longer hesitate. Wow. Just sit with that for a second. If you find the sword in your grasp, you can't hesitate. The weapon requires a clear and decisive mind and a willingness to act. An onlooker may think the sword bearer is hasty and violent, but the most compassionate and responsible gesture is one that is honest, swift, and accurate. Our first encounter with the sword is at birth, when the cord we share with the mother is cut. This moment defines our separation from her and begins our journey of becoming ourselves. We must make these cuts again and again if we are to grow. Decisions shape our life, and the sword is an infamous shaper of destiny. So this could also be about creating boundaries, right? And knowing like what is real and what's not. And there's a lot of talk about the separations between, third density and fourth density and fifth density, and the flash of light you know, or these solar flares, or, you know, there's more than one idea of what this, you know, comet-like thing that's flowing through our atmosphere. And then we have the earth that is changing and shifting. And are we part of that, or are we not? And my take is this, is what these cards are telling us right here is that there's a plan that's we're part of, because we're here on the earth at this time. This isn't a coincidence or an accident. We were meant to be here. We were meant to come in at this time. We were meant to share in this because we have something that we are bringing to this whole equation. And it's asking us to trust in where we are and what's going on, that there's a plan outside of what our mental awareness has allowed us to remember. But there is a separation that's coming. I feel like there's already a separation here, so I don't even want to say coming. You know that there's a separation between just the way people are thinking, the way people are acting. And the problem is it's just like this. It's hard not to notice the difference between this and this. It's like impossible not to notice. So to me, the sword is the sword here of awareness, is that you have to kind of choose your path as you're seeing everything separate. And the separation, I feel like I need to bring these over a little bit more to the middle of the screen. The separation that is something that has been going on for a really long time. And the reason why it's at this height right now is because we've been denying that it's there, right? Or been looking the other way or whatever. And I think that there's one more card that would like to show itself. And I think it's this one right here. I don't know if I've ever got this. Wow, look how beautiful these two cards are together. Because the first thing that I'm noticing is, you know, the obvious, is that we have the dark and the light, two obvious separations. And this is the threshold. It's like we're right here, ready to move forward. This is a place, and this is like a tool is what they call it. So I'm going to go into the threshold and see what we have here. Very, very excited to see the threshold card. The door, the gate, the initiation. We cross thresholds continually, consciously and unconsciously. Doorways, gates, and entryways grace our path on a daily basis. When this card arises, it signifies that the precipice you stand upon is not your typical one, however. And we know that, right? I can feel the energy. I go through these bouts of just being absolutely exhausted because the energy is so chaotic and it's so alive and heavy at times. So you have arrived at a threshold of initiation, here to usher you into a new reality. Wow, exactly. That's exactly what I feel like is going on. And I think most people are, when we're talking about this reality and that reality. We are at this place where and I heard somebody say it and it felt so true yesterday, is that we are living in this 5D consciousness and awareness because our body and our consciousness has risen to that awareness of what's going on, but we're still physically in this 3D world, which is the threshold, which is the separation, which is the seeing both sides. And we've made a choice, like, because we are experiencing things in 5D, the 3D is incredibly uncomfortable right now. This requires you to leave behind the you that you thought was well-formed. A new frontier calls. This is not easy work. Threshold initiation means a part of you will be lost in order to make space for what is next. A metaphorical death must occur. Some may not recognize you. You may struggle to recognize yourself. The ground seems to crumble as you free fall into your new reality. This is the liminal realm. One step, dear friend. Just take that one necessary step towards the future that calls you. Okay, I think that each reading that I've had has been so absolutely profound. And this one is no different. I think we're if you're feeling what I'm feeling, it's like there's so much that doesn't make sense to me. It literally. And I have adopted that what if phrase from Marie Manachuri, I think is what her podcast is. But it's like, what if? What if my next step is into a world of love and rainbows? What if the golden light energy is pouring into me and my being now to heal every aspect of my physical, mental, and emotional being? What if love is something that, as I step into this new space, what if it's all around me and my partner or my family will be right there in the space with me? What if the plan that I thought life was headed towards is completely different and it's even better than I can imagine? What if that wildest dream that I've been thinking about in my world or my life for years and years and years is finally my reality? Yeah, what if? What if? Why not? And so what I'm asking you to do is to lean into your dreams. It's something that we looked at last week, sorry about that. What if we believed that those miracles were real and that we're living them right now? What if we're leaning into those miracles? And what if truly, like, you wake up and you are so unbelievably happy, you can't even imagine what it felt like to feel the chaos of the things that didn't make sense to you. All right, so take a deep breath. I'd love to hear from you and what you think about this reading. Until tomorrow, I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye now.